As geopolitical tensions escalate, the intertwined economic fates of the United States, Vietnam, and China are becoming increasingly complex. The latest developments highlight how Vietnam, once a burgeoning hub for U.S. manufacturing, now faces significant challenges due to its reliance on China, particularly in light of the ongoing trade war initiated during the Trump administration. As the U.S. seeks to reduce its dependence on Chinese imports, Vietnam finds itself caught in a precarious balancing act, striving to meet U.S. expectations while maintaining its economic ties to China. In recent months, Vietnam has emerged as a vital player in the global supply chain, attracting companies looking to diversify away from China. However, this transition is fraught with challenges, especially as U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods push manufacturers to seek alternatives. A recent article from the New York Times reported that Vietnam's garment factories, which import approximately 60% of their fabrics from China, are under pressure to prove that their exports to the U.S. are genuinely made in Vietnam and not simply transshipped from China to evade tariffs. Vietnam's trade surplus with the United States has surged, increasing from $38.3 billion in 2017 to $123.5 billion in 2024, largely benefiting from tariffs imposed on Chinese goods. Nonetheless, this growth has come with scrutiny. The U.S. administration is demanding that Vietnam crack down on practices that involve rerouting goods through its borders to avoid tariffs, with officials labeling Vietnam as a colony of China. This characterization underscores the delicate position Vietnam occupies. While it seeks to enhance its status as an alternative manufacturing destination, it must navigate the complexities of its economic relationship with its larger neighbor. To address concerns regarding transshipment, Vietnamese authorities have formed a special task force aimed at combating smuggling and trade fraud. Moreover, discussions with U.S. Customs and Border Protection are underway to foster cooperation and information sharing. Yet despite these efforts, U.S. officials remain unconvinced, arguing that Vietnam's imports from China must be scrutinized more closely to ensure that the goods exported to the U.S. are not of Chinese origin. The challenges facing Vietnam extend beyond regulatory compliance. The country's textile and garment industry, heavily reliant on Chinese inputs, could suffer if the U.S. demands a significant reduction in these imports. Tran Nhu Tung, vice chairman of the Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association, emphasized the vital role China plays in Vietnam's production, stating, "Without China, we cannot make products." This interdependency complicates Vietnam's efforts to appease U.S. demands while ensuring its factories remain operational. As the deadline for the U.S. tariff pause approaches, Vietnam is scrambling to secure an agreement that satisfies both American and Chinese interests. Recent reports suggest that Vietnam is looking to bolster its purchase of American goods, including agricultural products and aircraft, from Boeing as part of any negotiations. However, the influx of Chinese investment and the ongoing hiring spree by companies like Shine further complicate these dynamics, making it difficult for Vietnam to disentangle its economy from China. Looking ahead, the future of U.S.-Vietnam trade relations remains uncertain. As both countries navigate the complexities of their intertwined economic interests, Vietnam's ability to balance its trade relationships will be pivotal. The ongoing trade war and shifting supply chains will likely continue to reshape the economic landscape in Southeast Asia, with Vietnam at the center of this evolving narrative. As the world watches closely, the outcomes of these negotiations will have significant implications for global trade dynamics in the years to come. In a landscape marked by rapid advancements in technology and growing geopolitical tensions, China's security technology sector is seizing opportunities to fortify its defenses. Recent expos have highlighted the robust participation of leading Chinese tech companies vying for lucrative military and police contracts, a trend that has garnered increased attention amid concerns over state secrets and information security. At a recent military equipment exhibition in Beijing, the atmosphere buzzed with interest as vendors showcased their latest innovations designed to protect sensitive information. Notably, the Beijing VRV Software Corporation stood out with an impressive display that attracted the attention of military personnel in attendance. The company presented its encrypted office platform LinkDude, which promises to facilitate secure communications across various military operations, from command approvals to drone footage transmission and logistics management for space missions. Our platform has already been adopted by numerous agencies, including all 3 universities under the Central Military Commission, a company spokesperson noted, emphasizing the system's rapid adoption and the critical need for secure communication channels within the military. The surge of interest in security technologies comes at a time when China's economy is facing headwinds, yet the demand for advanced security solutions continues to grow. This trend is underpinned by Beijing's recognition of the increasing risks of information leaks, particularly in a climate of heightened scrutiny regarding privacy and security. As the Chinese government intensifies efforts to fortify its defenses, companies like VRV are positioned to capitalize on this demand, suggesting a bright future for the sector despite broader economic challenges. Parallel to these developments, the Chinese government has rolled out substantial subsidies aimed at stimulating domestic consumption, which has further bolstered the technology market. According to recent data from the Ministry of Commerce, over 48 million consumers participated in a digital product subsidy scheme, resulting in sales totaling approximately $20 billion in just 4 months. This initiative, part of a broader strategy to mitigate declining exports and boost economic growth, has led to a notable uptick in sales of digital products, including smartphones and tablets. The subsidy program, which covers various categories of home electronics and appliances, allows consumers to receive financial support when purchasing qualifying items. Subsidies of up to 15% of the purchase price, capped at 500 yuan, around $71, have incentivized consumers to trade in older devices for newer models. Notably, sales of mid-range to high-end smartphones have surged, reflecting a shift towards more advanced technology and consumer preferences. The government's focus on enhancing domestic demand is not just a response to economic pressures, but also a strategic move to bolster local industries and reduce reliance on foreign technology. As the Chinese government navigates the complexities of international trade tensions, particularly with the United States, the emphasis on self-reliance in technology and security becomes increasingly critical. The advancements in security technology and consumer electronics are not just about economic growth. They represent a broader strategic imperative for a nation keen on asserting its technological prowess on the global stage. Looking ahead, the intertwining of security technologies and consumer electronics in China signals a potential reshaping of the market landscape. With ongoing government support and a robust domestic demand, it is clear that the security tech industry will continue to flourish, positioning itself as a cornerstone of China's efforts to safeguard its national interests while simultaneously responding to the needs of a modern consumer base. As developments unfold, the implications for global technology competition and international relations are likely to be profound, warranting close observation from industry stakeholders and policymakers alike. As China faces the dual challenges of a rapidly aging population and a slowing economy, the younger generation appears largely indifferent to the government's push for early retirement planning. This disconnect is underscored by the pressing concerns of today's youth: job insecurity, stagnant wages, and the high cost of living, leaving little room for thoughts about an uncertain future. Recent interviews conducted by the South China Morning Post reveal a common sentiment among young workers. Wu Ruoxi, a 29-year-old public sector employee in Wuhan, encapsulated this perspective succinctly: "There's no point constantly worrying about the future, I'd rather just focus on living well right now." This attitude reflects a broader trend among young people in China who feel overwhelmed by immediate pressures and view retirement planning as a distant concern in a world that is changing rapidly. The Chinese government, along with various academics, has repeatedly warned of the long-term implications of the country's demographic crisis. With life expectancy rising and birth rates declining, the state pension system is increasingly strained. In response, authorities have introduced reforms, including an expanded personal pension system aimed at encouraging retirement savings. However, the uptake among younger workers has been minimal. Many view retirement as a far-off issue not worth the stress of planning for, particularly when daily life presents more pressing financial and social challenges. The government's message is clear: early planning is essential to mitigate future risks. Yet the reality for many young adults is starkly different. With economic growth slowing and job prospects uncertain, the priority for this generation is survival in the present rather than securing a comfortable retirement. The sentiment is echoed by a number of young professionals who expressed concern over immediate financial stability rather than long-term savings plans. This generational divide raises critical questions about the sustainability of China's pension system and the broader implications for its economy. As the government pushes for increased savings and financial stability, it must also address the immediate needs and concerns of younger workers. The lack of engagement in retirement planning may not only exacerbate individual financial insecurity in the future but could also pose significant challenges for the national economy as the workforce continues to age. Looking ahead, it remains to be seen how the government will adapt its strategies to engage younger generations in retirement planning. The success of such initiatives will be crucial not only for the well-being of individuals but for the stability of China's economic future as it navigates the complexities of demographic change. The challenge is finding a balance between encouraging prudent financial planning and addressing the immediate economic realities that define the lives of young Chinese today. In a significant move underscoring Taiwan's ongoing concerns regarding national security and its complex relationship with China. The Ministry of National Defense (MND) has expanded restrictions on military conscripts with links to the mainland. This decision comes amid increasing military activities by China in the region and reflects a heightened vigilance in Taiwan's defense policies. According to a report presented to the Legislative Yuan, individuals with connections to China, including those with Chinese citizenship or who have studied at institutions linked to Chinese military or government entities, will be barred from accessing 8 categories of military roles deemed sensitive. This measure affects approximately 387 conscripts, a small fraction of the total, but highlights how deeply Taiwan is scrutinizing potential security threats from the mainland. These regulations stem from the Act on Mandatory Military Service for people from the mainland area residing in Taiwan, which was designed to ensure that individuals with such ties are not placed in positions involving intelligence communications or aviation. The MND clarified that while the Act primarily regulates those residing in Taiwan who originated from China, it does not extend to other service-age individuals with ties to China. Therefore, the ministry has introduced supplementary regulations that encompass a broader range of individuals, including those who have previously held residency in Taiwan but currently reside in China, Hong Kong, or Macau. This expansion of oversight reflects Taiwan's strategic imperative to mitigate any risks from individuals who may be swayed by foreign influence. Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng emphasized the necessity of these measures, stating, "We must safeguard our national security by ensuring that those who might have divided loyalties do not hold positions where they could access sensitive information or capabilities." The MND is taking proactive steps by compiling lists of conscripts with such connections, ensuring their activities are closely monitored by military officers. The backdrop to these developments is Taiwan's increasing alertness to China's military maneuvers in the region. Just days prior, Taiwan's MND reported the detection of numerous People's Liberation Army (PLA) aircraft and Navy vessels operating in close proximity to its territorial waters. This included a notable instance where 6 out of 8 detected aircraft crossed the median line into Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone (ADIZ). Such incursions have raised alarms about the potential for military escalation and have prompted Taiwan to reaffirm its commitment to maintaining a robust defense posture. Taiwan's approach reflects a broader trend of nations re-evaluating their defense strategies in light of perceived threats from China. The tightening of military conscription policies serves not only to safeguard sensitive military roles but also signals Taiwan's resolve to counter any potential coercion from its powerful neighbor. As tensions remain high in the Taiwan Strait, These regulatory changes are likely to shape the future of Taiwan's military readiness and its strategic interactions with China. Looking ahead, the international community will be watching closely as Taiwan navigates these complex security dynamics. With China's military capabilities continuing to expand, Taiwan's response will be critical in defining the balance of power in the region. The implications of these policies may extend beyond military readiness, potentially influencing Taiwan's diplomatic relations and its ongoing quest for international support against Chinese assertiveness. As Taiwan fortifies its defenses, the question remains, how will this reshape the future of cross-strait relations and regional stability, in a significant diplomatic engagement aimed at easing tensions during a prolonged trade war? Chinese Vice Premier Hao Lifeng met with senior executives from Citigroup and the Carlyle Group in Beijing. This meeting comes as part of China's broader strategy to reassure and attract American investors, showcasing the resilience and vitality of its economy amidst ongoing trade frictions with the United States. Lifeng's discussions with Citigroup's chairman John Dugan and Carlyle Group's CEO Harvey Schwartz centered around China's economic recovery and its commitment to expanding foreign investment opportunities. China's economy has continued its notable rebound while high-quality development efforts are resulting in solid progress, he stated, emphasizing the nation's welcome of foreign investment and its intention to expand its high-level opening up to the outside world. This positive outlook was met with enthusiasm from the executives, with Dugan expressing Citigroup's desire to deepen its presence in the Chinese market, while Schwartz echoed a commitment to long-term cooperation with China. This diplomatic overture arrives at a time when trade tensions between the U.S. and China remain high despite recent agreements to roll back some tariffs. Earlier in May, both nations agreed to suspend certain tariffs for 90 days as part of ongoing negotiations. The Citigroup and Carlyle meetings exemplify China's strategic efforts to mend relations with key financial players in the U.S., aiming to stabilize its economic landscape while navigating complex geopolitical waters. China's push for foreign investment is critical as it seeks to bolster its economy against external pressures. By engaging with major U.S. financial institutions, China aims to reinforce its market attractiveness and signal to investors that it remains a viable destination for capital despite the ongoing trade war. The meetings underscore a mutual recognition of the importance of economic cooperation, even amidst political disputes. While the focus has been on financial collaboration, the geopolitical implications of these engagements are profound. The U.S. China trade war has spurred both nations to reassess their economic strategies and alliances. As China courts American investors, it simultaneously faces increasing scrutiny over its domestic policies and international conduct, particularly regarding technology transfers and market access. This delicate balancing act presents both opportunities and challenges for China as it seeks to maintain its economic growth trajectory. Looking ahead, the outcomes of these engagements between China and American financial leaders could shape the future of U.S.-China relations. Continued dialogue may pave the way for improved trade conditions, but underlying tensions will likely persist as both nations navigate their complex interdependencies. As the world watches closely, the effectiveness of China's charm offensive will ultimately hinge on its ability to satisfy the concerns of foreign investors while addressing domestic economic challenges.